Hello. We wanted to update you today, you, the Nashua community, regarding an outbreak of COVID-19 cases that has occurred at the Gate City Church on Main Street in Nashua. Now, we're doing this to alert everybody who might have attended the church that they should get tested, that they should be watching for symptoms, and that they should be very careful in terms of their interactions with other people. What happened is that there was a prayer event between the 18th and the 29th of September, and several hundred people, we think, attended this prayer event. So far, 9 people that attended the prayer event have tested positive. The state discovered this outbreak on October 5th, and since then, our public health department has been working with the state and with the Granite State Church to try to identify anyone who might have been in contact with a positive case. Of course, this is what and it's very important that our public health department reach out to everyone and do all the contact tracing, meaning finding out who was there, who they might have had contact with, so that we can make sure that anybody who is exposed quarantines. And this is how we prevent, to the extent possible, the spreading of the disease, and we contain it within a smaller group of people. As you probably know, we had an outbreak at City Hall, 6 cases. And what we did is we closed City Hall for 2 weeks, quarantined a bunch of employees who then worked remotely, and we were able to contain the spread of the virus to 6 cases, of which you may realize I was one of them. That's what we're trying to do here. Of course, this COVID-19 epidemic has created a lot of inconvenience for a lot of people. Everybody should be wearing the mask. Do I love doing this? No, of course not. But by working together, by protecting each other, by wearing masks and doing all this contact tracing, by working together as a community, everybody trying to protect everybody else, we have been able to limit the number of cases here in Nashua to about 1,000. Still quite a few. 39, unfortunately, 39 people have died. But other communities of similar size in this region, north of us and south of us, have had far more cases than Nashua has. So we want to continue our positive record. Public health has been doing a great job in working with everyone who has tested positive to try to contain the spread of the virus. So I think the most important thing is now to hear the details from Bobbie Bagley, Director of Community Health, Director of Public Health and Community Services, so that she can talk through and try to communicate with anyone who might have attended, the hundreds of people that attended the prayer meeting from September 18th to September 29th. So we are social distancing, so I'm going to invite Bobbie up, and we will, you'll hear more details from Bobbie Bagley.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. As the mayor has said, we have an outbreak at the Gate City Church in Nashua that we are currently investigating. We learned about this cluster outbreak from our state health department on Monday, and upon further investigation, learned that there were other cases associated with the events that occurred from the 18th through the 29th, as mentioned. Now, what do we know about this outbreak? We know that someone attended the service that was infectious, but may not have known that they were carrying the virus. We know that about 30% of the individuals who are carrying COVID-19 do not have signs and symptoms. So this may have been an individual who was enjoying a wonderful service that may not have known that they had this virus. The church followed the rules that were outlined by the state with regards to social distancing, with regards to making sure that families were spaced 6 to 10 feet apart, and wearing their mask. At one point during their service, they did take their masks off once they were in their family units to sing, to have a good time praising God. Singing, however, in an enclosed building is one of the riskiest exposure opportunities with the virus. And although there was nothing that was intended to cause any harm, this situation did allow for extensive exposure at this church. We do know that one of our first cases that we were aware of had symptoms as early as the 26th. And so with that, we know that there was an individual that was present at the church that had symptoms, again, that may not have known about their symptoms that exposed this individual. And then through the activities that occurred over the following 10 days of these church meetings, other people were exposed. So what we're asking, when we do our contact investigation, we're looking to identify individuals that may have been at the church during those days. So from the 18th to the 28th, if you were at the church, we need for you to self-monitor for signs and symptoms. If you have had any signs and symptoms, we are asking people to get tested. We're asking people to get tested so that we can identify if there's further spread, and then asking people to go into isolation and then quarantine, because we also want to make sure that we can slow this spread down. We will be offering testing today, so if you attended services at Gate City between the dates of the 18th through the 28th, we're asking for you to get tested at any one of the testing sites that are in the southern part of our state. We also know that individuals attend the Gate City Church from around outside of Nashua, so in our surrounding towns as well. So there are testing sites that will be open throughout the state where you can go and get tested. This morning, we'll be offering testing at the Gate City Church in their parking lot at 53 Franklin Street from 11 to 1. We're asking individuals that attended the church services to come and take advantage of those testing opportunities. We will also be offering testing on Friday, tomorrow, between 3:30 and 5 o'clock p.m., again, for anyone that attended the services between the 18th and the 28th. Now, we are aware that there were over 100 folks that attended these meetings over that time period for the 10 days, and so there's the potential for widespread, and that's why we're asking people to cooperate with us by getting tested. If you have signs and symptoms and you know that you've been at the church between that time period, please do seek testing at any one of the sites that have been identified. The state has put out a press release yesterday. On their website, you can go and identify other testing sites throughout the state at www.dhhs.gov. We're also asking people to continue with our public health recommendations. If you have developed any signs and symptoms, please stay home. And then also make sure that you monitor yourself around your family members, because those household members can also become infected with the virus as well. Watch for those symptoms. They may be very subtle. Symptoms as subtle as a tickle in your throat, a runny nose, maybe a cough, maybe not. Some people experience headache. Some people experience body aches. And some of these symptoms don't last for very long. And so because they're not lasting long, some people are not thinking that this could be COVID. But because we are in this pandemic, we really want our community to understand that those symptoms could be related to COVID. And so we advise people to get tested. We also want to continue encouraging wearing the face coverings and wearing your face mask, because that's the best way to reduce exposure to others. Wash your hands frequently. Make sure, if you can, maintain your 6 feet of social distancing from others with your mask and with those other measures in place as well. The other thing that we're asking, because what we're starting to see in our community is that as activities have increased, with people going to church, with our sporting events, going to your child's games, with other large gatherings, where also the recommendations for our indoor dining have now passed down, and so people will be able to go and enjoy meals inside restaurants. These are all activities that also increase your risk for exposure. So if you're an individual that's over 65 years of age, have any underlying health conditions, asthma, cardiovascular disease, lupus, any autoimmune disorder, these are events and activities that you want to avoid. We also want people to be aware of the fact that because we have asymptomatic spread, there are people that may be carrying this virus and may not know that they have it. And again, that's why we're asking and encouraging people to follow the mask ordinance that has been put in place here in Nashua, because this is going to actually help us mitigate exposure, risk, and further cases. We have seen an increase over the past month. We have seen an increase in the number of contacts related to those cases, and household contacts are at highest risk for contracting this disease. Again, stay home if you're sick. If you have signs and symptoms, please do seek out testing sites. I do have a few testing sites listed here. Aside from the testing clinics that we'll be offering today from 11 to 1 over at the Gate City parking site, and tomorrow from 3:30 to 5, Southern New Hampshire Health at 29 Northwest Boulevard is also offering testing. You need to call 603-577-2273 and press option 1. St. Joseph's Hospital Milford Medical Center is also a testing site at 442 Nashua Street in Milford. They offer testing between the hours of 11 and 6:30 p.m. Please call 603-884-4454. The Lamprey Healthcare is also a testing site in Southern New Hampshire. Please call 603-883-1626. And additional testing locations can be found on our website at nashuanh.gov/COVID-19. And you can also call our hotline at 603-589-3456. What we're asking right now to help slow the spread of this infection from this outbreak at Gate City Church is for those who attended sessions between September 18th and September 28th at those prayer meetings to seek out testing today and then also monitor for signs and symptoms. We know that we can do this, Nashua. We've had a low incidence rate and percent positive rate for months. We also expected that during this time of year, the fall, that we could see an increase in our cases. We also know that we can work together to help mitigate and keep those numbers down. So we're asking for your help right now. Please feel free to call us at 603-589-3456 if you have any further questions. And again, come to those testing sites to get tested. Thank you.
And that concludes our update for today. We will get back to you with any further updates as needed. Again, we're just encouraging anybody who might have attended the Granite State Church to go to the contact public health, get tested, so we can help contain the spread of the virus. Thank you very much.